Yeah, continuing from that, right? So we talked about the product catalog. Then there is the electronic media. Electronic media is basically the content, right? The images and so on. So every category you can have, you can have, let's say product can have multiple images, and category also can have, the images and tiled images and so on, which you will see. And those are
So
stored
it will
in.
be on content management system, right? So this images related information or
No, I mean, a product will have a product media, and product media will refer to the CMS or something like that.
okay, okay. I hope it is something new like electronic media which you hold the product
Yeah,
images and product category images.
yeah. So we have electronic media group and managed content. So this is all, these are the, product and category media related things. So here the object
Wow.
have a product. So the product will have product category product. This is the MTM, like I said. So then we will have these are related to categories, and category is related to catalog. So again, one to many, and like that. And you have category media and electronic media group and store catalog. So this is how it looks like. Um, I think the important question, if we talk from the uh, they generally ask for is primary category. What is this is primary category? So there are for example, one product you can assign it to multiple categories, right? The same product. So how do you
Yes.
know when you are searching on the store, right? So which one it will show, the first one or the second one? So that's where this primary category comes into picture. So if it is selected the primary category, that one will be shown in the as a, is about. Then another question that frequently comes is for the showing menu. So this checkbox basically on the category, it's on the UI catalog related to. What that means is, whether you want to show it in the menu item or not. So that's what it is. Okay. Um, yeah, so this is about product and category media. Now coming on to pricing. Pricing, you will have, two. One is called so product is related to, price. So price book. So everything starts from the price book. So price book is nothing but a, let's say you have a, one price book, regular buyer price book, and there is a premium buyer price book or VIP price book, right? Now, price book is just a name and there is nothing more in it. Now, you want to associate a particular price book to a particular product, right? Price to product, price book to product. So, so that price book to product happens in the price book item. So, price book item associates a product with a price book. So by itself, price book will not be associated to any product. You need to create a object a relation in the price book item. That's how the product and price book are related. Now this price book can be associated to a buyer group, like we discussed, right? So premium guys can have a different price book than the other one, and similarly, and there is a default price book which is related to the store as well. So what does the store as a price book as well? So this is called store price book. So these are product and pricing. Important thing to remember is product and price book entry. So these are three items that we will associate and associate related to the buyer. Like we discussed, I mean the product will have the product and price book. They are related with the price book entry. Again, if you see here, it's a junction object. Do you know about junction object? A junction object means it will have both many to many, right? So you
Sorry,
see the
sorry, can you please repeat again?
this in Salesforce junction object. This is called junction object. Junction meaning product to price book entry. This is one to many. Do you see here this many sign?
One
And
to
then
many, yes, okay.
and price book to price book entry is also many. So this is basically a many to many object. So this is what is called junction object in Salesforce.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and then we talked about price book to store price book. Then We have a buyer group price book, like we discussed, buyer groups can have a different price book, and the store will be associated, can be associated to a store buyer. So this is how the whole data model is related. Finally,
Okay.
the cart related things. So cart is where whatever you have selected the product you store. So cart is obviously is big to account and B2B store and payment group and payment method. Payment group payment method is how you are going to pay this guy. And then finally, we have cart delivery group. So in general, Salesforce does not support currently more than one cart delivery group. Cart delivery group is, you have 10 items, so five you want to, let's say, ship differently than the rest of the five. So five you want to, ship with DHL, five, the rest of them you want to ship with something else. So that's where the card delivery group and card delivery group method comes out into picture, but currently Salesforce does not support it. You cannot have more than one card separate the two. Basically. Then cart, you have product with a cart item and cart text. So these are all cart related things. Uh, this is a pretty big thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, the important thing just to have it, product will have, multiple cart items. So every cart will be associated to a particular product only, right? So that's what the cart item is. And cart will have multiple cart items, and cart items are basically the products associated to it. And you will have, text based features here as well, and payment methods, like you see different objects related to payment method here, and summary. So this is how this data model is going to be. Wish list, like I told you, you don't want to buy it now, you want to buy it later. So that's where we use the wish list. Um, then check out and order. So finally, you have checked out. So what you want to do is you will create an order. So when the order is created, which is the summary of all this, from the from the GUI side, this is basically the end where you just create a checkout and order is created. After that, the post processing part, it either goes to the order management system, either within Salesforce or outside of the Salesforce. Um, so, account, sales store, origin order, and sales channel. Order summary, you will have, will see in the UI. Order summary means, whatever you have checked out, what are the tax items on it, what is the discount, what is the adjustment you have done, what all products were mentioned, right? So everything comes in this order summary. We will see the, yeah. Again, this is a big thing, but I will leave it to dig deep into it. This will be more relevant when you start. If you have to do some coding, then so we can go through this. But primarily, there is an order object and order summary related to that is what we need to understand at a very high level.
So this order, like a data model means whatever the data model. So this one to many, many to one. So how I can understand deeply actually. So can you provide those links as well to me? So I will go through that. I can understand clearly like I can understand like a high level.
No, no, no.
Suppose order. Yeah,
I will show you in Salesforce how to see this.
sure, sure. Yeah.
The summary of data model standard object. So what we talked about till now, right? So we talked about the store, the objects are, these are the standard objects related to this. We talked about buyer account, buyer group, entitlement. So basically you should know, what I am talking about. For example, when you say buyer group,
Got it, got it.
what does it mean? And these are the related objects,
A related system object, I can say in B2C
standard
commerce, what we
objects.
have thus. Yeah,
Yeah.
standard objects or system object, anything. Yeah.
And product catalog and pricing. So these are the related objects for that.
So
Product
if you want to
media,
do any changes, we need to do here any custom attributes we want to create. We have to add it here, right?
exactly. Then when you
Yeah.
are saying cart, so it means these are the objects in order and order summary. So these are the objects.
Got it.
Okay.
Shipping. Okay.
This is the order and
So,
order summary. Here everything will come.
I haven't seen shipment related info here, but yeah.
So order delivery methods and order delivery group. So these are the shipping related items.
Oh, okay, delivery. Oh, okay.
So now we talked about B2B and there is some B2C, right? So why do we need the two different things? I think we touched upon it a little. So store price book, which is common in B2C. For example, in Amazon you buy, right? So you are buying as a B2C customer. So you are buying,
Yes.
then anyone else can buy, but they will not have a different pricing, right? So the price book is common basically. You cannot have multiple price book, right? So that's what is common in B2C, and instead of buyer group price book. So buyer group means the regular customer is coming, then I will give him a service, different pricing. Then some other account is coming, I will give him different pricing. So that happens in B2B. So that's the primary difference between B2B and B2C. So how you categorize these products and show it. Uh, then a buyer group object establishes the prices rather than the store price book. What that means is, in B2C, you will have a store-based price book, but here you will have a price book based on the buyer group. So, which is negotiated pricing for that particular account, right? So that's what happens. Um, Now, do you know about the permission sets and profiles in Salesforce?
B2C commerce permission sets, right? I have studied, but
Okay. So
mm,
what
like
Okay, just I will give you high level what it is. Because this is what we need to set today. So levels of data access, right? So how do you set up data in Salesforce? So you will have what all things you need to set. First is the organization level, right? Like how you log in and so on. So that's something you do at a profile level. Then so in objects, what it means is like you have an account object, right? You have a contact object who can who has the access of, basically it means CRUD access, create, read, update, and delete, right? So that
yeah.
access is called the object level access. So that object level access is what we provide using the profile. So object level security, it is called object level security. Now which object can a user see? That is what is called object permission. Again, this is a profile based. Now, what fields on the objects you can see, which is called the field level security. Now, you have in account, you would have account name, right? And so many other fields. Now, that account name and other fields is, you can specify which profile can see, right? So that also can be can be done in the profile level. Now, but what happens is, at times, let's say I have 100 fields, right? And I want to have, five fields for one type of persona, five fields of different type of persona. So what will happen is there will be multiple profiles there. So what I can do is instead, what they give is you can have a common profile, but you can associate different permission sets. For example, this particular user A will have, these five fields access. User B will have these five fields access and so on. So you can have, multiple permission sets associated to a particular user. And this is at the user level. So that's what is called permission set. So permission sets are always at the user level, right? So you can have multiple permission sets associated to a particular user, but the user will always have a one profile. So that's the field level security and profiles and permission sets. Now, record level security. Now, what is record level security, right? So now, let's say you have access to the account, but do you have access to all the records in that particular account? No, right? Because you will have access to the accounts that you have created, but you will not have access to accounts which someone else has created. So that record level security is done using something called org-wide defaults or role hierarchy, sharing rules, manual sharing. So this is what we do. So the basic level of org level, record level security is provided using the org-wide default, right? So org-wide default, we will set it for these some of these objects as well. So org-wide default means, you know, I think here it means. So So you will need to find out who is the most restricted, right? So there are three type of sharing you can have. One is the private. Basically, no one is allowed to see this object, right? So no one can see other than who has created. So that is called sharing model private. Then there is, an instance where you can have public read only. So everyone can see it, but not everyone can write it. So that is called public read only. And then there is public read write. So public read write means anyone can read and write, right? So that is what is called public read write. So this OWD or org-wide security is basically to provide you the records which you are not the owner. Someone else is the owner. So that is what is called record level security, and this is basically provided by the OWD. So now we will be using these permission sets and OWD settings and see how they are levels. So now on top of record level security, you can have some exceptions that you can make. For example, you have you don't want to share. A scenario could be you have the org-wide record level OWD setting as private, but you still want a few particular users to see it or edit it. So how can you expand that? So all of this can be done using all these different mechanisms which are called sharing rules, sharing on a row level, and row hierarchy. But overall, for this particular thing, what you need to know is, what is the profiles. So profiles is basically one user will have one profile. The profile is governed by licenses and so on, but basically what you will get is, basic object level access. For example, in this case, we have created, some commerce objects. We need to have those accesses. So that's what we will get. Permission set means a particular user you want to give a permission set. Generally, it is used for licensing as well. For example, for any commerce user, we want to have a B2B commerce license, and it is called customer community license. But you need to have a buyer permission set that you will need to add. So when you add a buyer permission set, it automatically adds a permission set license. So what that means is this particular user will be charged based on that license, right? So that's what we use it for. Okay, I think you basically got some idea on what permission sets are. So now from B2B commerce side of things, you have three different permissions which are called B2B commerce user, B2B commerce super user, and account switcher user. So these are system permissions and what they are used for, right? So if you want a buyer user, right? So you need to create a license, use the license, customer community or customer community plus. So customer community, in Salesforce, there are multiple type of licenses. Some licenses are, if you use the Salesforce license, they are costly. So, but when you want to use the, portal and so on, there will be, millions of users and so on. So that's where, the type of the licensing model is different. So that's where it could depend on number of logins and so on as well. So that's where this community licenses come into picture. They are rather cheaper. Why? Because they don't have access to the entire system. They will have restricted access. How do you restrict it? It's based on this permission set and permission set license that we get. So, so there are three licenses that we have. One is called the regular buyer user. So whoever wants to go to the particular site, they want to browse it and search the product details, do the checkout, all those things. So that you can do with these regular buyer users, right? So you need to have this B2B commerce user permission that is assigned to it. Then you have a buyer manager. So now, like I said, right, you can create, you can buy a particular thing, but what if I want a manager who can see the card on the same account by different users? So let's say United Coffee, I have two users. One is called Arthur and one is called Ganesh. So now Arthur creates some orders, and Ganesh also creates some orders, but they will not be able to see each other. But I want some buyer manager, let's say John. So that guy John wants to see both the cards of the Ganesh and Arthur. So how we will do that? By using this buyer manager. And important thing is it's for the same account. You can't have it across the accounts. For across the account, if you want to see basically from one account to the different account, then you need to have an account switcher user who can switch to different accounts. So all of them need customer community plus license and above. Okay, so personal and permission sets again. And here we have permission sets. So you have what do you need? Access, like we talked about. So when you are giving the object access, so a B2B commerce user, the default buyer user, right? So they will need the access to read access to accounts, because without that, you can't do anything. Buyer account, catalog, categories, electronic media goods, all of these commerce related items, they need read access. They need full access to cards. They need full access to contact point address, order, and wish list. Can you understand? Can you tell me why card will need a full access?
Like we need to update, edit, delete, or we need
Exactly.
to add the
Yeah.
products to cart. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why the cards are need the full access, and same thing goes with the wish list and order contact point address. And permissions that we need, system permissions. So these are commerce user and run flows. Commerce user basically they provide the system permission automatically. So system permission commerce user is equivalent to the commerce user, and CC plus license and network is needed. When we say account switcher, I think the read access for almost the same, and full access same. Permissions, there is one extra permission here, account switcher user. So account switcher is switching between different accounts, right? So that's what it is used for. This is the summary of what all correct permissions you will need. Without this, you will have some issue or the other in the system. Let's say if you don't have contact point address. Contact point address is nothing but ship to business, like we discussed. If you don't have it, you can't purchase, right? Because you can't ship it to anywhere. That, or find tax, for example. So this is what it is needed for. Okay, I think we are done with the theory. So what we will do now is, I think I will just go through what needs to be done, and I have shared this. You can do it on your own time, and maybe we'll discuss tomorrow. First half, whatever you have done, and if there are any issues in that, I will go through what all changes you need to make. Does it sound good?
Sure, Nirmal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
When we do this assignments, then only we'll get knowledge, more knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. So what we are going to do here is, you have created additional fields related to commerce. We will update the, let's say, product screen with these extra fields that we have created. Then set up permission sets and profile. So permission sets and profiles means like the account feature user permission set you will have to create and so on. Then create a store using LWR template. So finally, we will start creating a store. So LWR Lightning Web Runtime. It's a Lightning template.
Lightning Web Runtime template.
Then we will load some sample data. I will give you the sample data of the product site, so that you can load it your the racing site, so that you can load it and see how it works. Then we will verify the product and CMS data. Okay. So I will just go through this in just 5 minutes, but I think it's pretty simple. So deploying the storefront, right? So what is this exercise about? We have what we are going to do now is so we have created some fields like product SKU. SKU is basically stock keeping unit. It's basically the product number, you can say. So this is
A
how.
product ID. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we put. So we are going to put, I'm assuming you have a little bit of knowledge on admin side on how to do this. So, but if you don't, you can just follow these steps. So what we do is in Salesforce, you have, different layouts that you can create for a particular object. Layouts basically give you, you don't need to customize anything, just drag drop. For example, this product SKU, just in the field section, you just click and drop it here and just save it. So now it will start appearing on this page, right? So that's what it means. Similarly, we have created some additional objects on So related list, when we say related list, it means, the related object, right? For example, the product, for the commerce, we created, automatically it creates the categories and commerce entitlement policy. So these related objects it automatically creates so that you can add it in the related list. So related list is always one to many. So basically one product can be associated to multiple categories and commercial entitlement.
So
Then
how we can get to know like a one to many, like you can go related list, you said one to many, right? Suppose report charts, it is like one to many. Like how we can get to know like is it one to one or one to many or many to many like that?
So what you can do is you can go to here. So there is something called schema builder which Salesforce provides. Although you can go to the definition of that particular objects as well, but let's say if you want to see, let the object managers from all the or right. So here you
Product,
can go and see the product.
product.
The product object. So here it lists down all the objects. So now I go to the product. So this is the product. It talks about what are the fields, what are the relationships, and all the other layouts and so on. So let's say I go to the product fields and relationships, right? So in this, what do we want to see? Let's say um, okay. So this is what it shows the fields, but like you wanted to know
These are
more.
the product custom attribute we can say like a product fields, So
Yes,
yeah,
but you are interested in seeing it visually. So what we can do is we go here and look for schema builder.
schema builder.
The schema builder is basically going to give you the high level, these objects and so on. Then select
Okay.
whatever
Oh
object
my
you
God.
want. No, you can just remove everything. Not a problem.
Suppose one by one we can see, right? Like it is like
Yeah,
overall all the objects.
yeah. So what you can do is, objects, with all. So let's remove everything. Now, I don't know, maybe let's say you want to see the account
Okay. Suppose we want to see account.
and what else? The buyer account. These are the
Okay.
two accounts and buyer account, right? So now it will start showing
Account and buyer account. Then okay.
yeah. So these are the
It's
accounts.
automatically came, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a pretty good way of saying it. What is one to one, one to many is this. So it will tell you, right? Like, after people using one buyer account. Whenever it's showing like the three lines, it means many sites. In front of
Many.
them.
Okay. Again, from the account only, he added one more thing to account itself, like a parent account, partner account. Here only. Suppose
Yeah, that's a
account
hierarchy
to.
account to account also. So,
Okay.
say if you want that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. It is down to down. Okay. So now we got to know what is the relation between the account, contact, and buyer account.
Yeah. Yeah, you can play around with this. Okay. So yeah, so this is how you can do that, and then orders. Similarly, you can make the changes to the order summary page
Order
layout.
summary.
So
Yeah.
what he's asking you to go to this particular object and go to that. Let's say this particular object I went. I don't know. Let's say account.
I need to go to that particular object and I need to update the page layouts, right?
You go to this page layout section and click on this account layout, for example. When you click on this, it will open. Yeah. Okay. So here at the top it shows the field button, blah blah. So now let's say I want to add, I don't know, let's say,
Product ID, right? Suppose our rating we can add.
okay, this is account, so it will not have it. So let's say I want to add a ticker symbol somewhere, I don't know here. So you just take it, drop it. That's it. And just save it. So it will start
Okay.
appearing. That's what needs to be done. And then, yeah, so I think you can follow these steps. So it is basically to update these, account layouts and so on. So how it is mentioned there. So we are updating these all account layout, concept layout. Now, once you have done that, then you need to update the buyer info, right? So there is a account, then buyer account. So what it does is you need to put the direct drop the buyer account here, and it will start showing as details. So buyer details will have some additional information on that particular account, which is then we talked about the permission sets, right? So now it will tell you how to create an account switcher permission user. The buyer and buyer manager permission sets are already there, so you don't need to worry about it. The only thing is account switcher user, which is to be created. Once you do that, it will basically give the UI switch accounts button, menu item. When you click on it, it will start switching. You can switch to some other account. Now, finally, we will start creating the B2B Commerce template. So we go to the source, click on new and select this template. So you name the store. I don't know whether it's let's say coffee store or something. So it will start, giving you this page will come. So this is the main page where we can initially for this particular store, you can just add some sample data. So let's say I added some sample data. So sample data will give you, some initial dummy data for catalog, buyer group, buyer price book, and so on. That you can, review and see if it is working or not. Then when you can search rebuild the index. What rebuild index does is basically like I said, right? So by default, it won't show it in the UI. So what you need to click, do is rebuild index, and it will start showing the index, the products to the UI.
Yeah.
There are some changes related to the content security policy. So in the experience builder side, what that means is you are allowing some, access, additional access, which basically lets you see the third party things because we are loading the images, for example, from the different site than the Salesforce. So it does not allow by default. You can, open up the access so that it allows it. That's what is doing here. Then once you have done that on that particular community, you need to say that, these two profiles, for example, can access this community, right? So what we are doing here is we will create a, contact that can access this particular community. So system administrator and CC plus user will add there. Once that is done, we will create the CSP trusted sites. What that means is, let's say you have created, image on http://google.com, then you need to whitelist that. So this whitelisting part is done in this CSP trusted site. So what it is saying is any content from start.content.source.com will be, yeah, it can be bypassed. Generally, all the
Okay, so
images.
images location, suppose we kept in some location, that whitelisting URL part can be added here. So it will be
Right.
allowed to show images over there. Otherwise, images won't show, it will be blocked, right?
Of product images, especially. Then we will create a catalog and categories. So here some examples are there given. You can follow those, how to create a. You can create a catalog. You can add, the parent category
Yeah,
and
I
so
will
on.
do these exercises and all.
Yeah,
Like a step by step as given, na? So I will follow all the steps. So if I got any
yeah,
doubt, I can ask.
yeah. So for category, for example, like I said, right, catalog will have categories. Categories will have products. So you can add the products here. And then finally, we will create the account, buyer group, and contact. So we will go to the account. And we'll create a new account here, United Green Coffee Corp, we have created. We enable it as a buyer. so that it can, go to the commerce thing, it can access, and then we create the contact. Contact basically means the actual buyer, right? So this is the user. So the user we will create, and we will have to create the actual user as well, and then we need to assign a permission set of buyer to it. So once you assign the buyer permission set, they can log into the site. Then we also need to create the buyer groups. So we will create, yeah. By default, when you are creating the sample data, it automatically will create some of this dummy data. You can keep using that, or you can create your own. But I will suggest you can create your own, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Then
sure. Yeah.
commerce entitlement policies. In entitlement policy, like I said, it basically gives you the visibility of the price list, pricing, or the product information. Whether this product is visible for this buyer group or not, you can control it. Searching text and so on. Yeah, and then there is some exercise that I have added at the end, which I suggest you try. If it doesn't work, then yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. We can see.
Yeah, sure, Nirmal, I will do that today. So yeah, actually for us, the request for proposal for B2C Commerce Cloud, like a Salesforce Commerce Cloud, you mean demand where something is going on parallelly, okay?
Okay, okay.
So need to focus on